very specifically the chemistry that's involved with turmeric. Now, if we look at turmeric as a whole, we're going to see that there's both fat-soluble and water-soluble molecules. Now, this is dealing very specifically with the botanical of turmeric. It's the root, the whole root itself. And you can see that we have water, and we have carbohydrate, and we have fats, and we have proteins, and we have fiber. That makes up, by far and large, the bulk of what the constitution is of the turmeric root. Everyone gets excited about turmeric root, and they tell you to take it whole, and they tell you that if you add a little bit of fat with it, because it's all fat soluble, you get better absorption. That is partially true. If we look at the things that we're not necessarily looking for, like the fats and the fiber and the carbohydrates, you get that in your diet, you get that in all the nutrition that we already supply for you. What we really want is the curcuminoids and the tumerones. The curcuminoids are water soluble, and the tumerones are fat soluble. And here's part of the challenge that comes for people. Because they're water soluble, these are very large molecules. And so they're very difficult to absorb. And because there's poor absorption, there's a rapid metabolism and there's rapid elimination within the body. Meaning we don't get all of the benefit that we would like to have. There's reduced biological activity. And so people will sometimes say, well, you need to partnership it with something. Pair it with piperine, for example, from black pepper. That will increase the absorbability of fat molecules by 2,000%. Well, one problem. This is not fat soluble. It's a water soluble molecule. So we don't have any interest in this in doTERRA. Except for, we already give it to you. You already have this. You've had this for years. This isn't new. You've had that component of the botanical for years. You have it in the alpha-CRS, you have it in the deep blue polyphenol complex, and we give it to you in a way that we increase the absorption by more than 7-fold. So not only are you getting all the benefit of the curcuminoids, you're getting them in the most absorbable form, and you get that in your daily use of what we're already providing for you. So what I really want to highlight for you is the tumerones. Now, tumerones you can receive in one of two ways. Tumerones actually is the essential oil. And tumerones, in this case, if we liberate it through the CO2 extraction, we have a little bit of a problem. And the problem we have with CO2 extraction, and it's not that I'm saying it's bad, I'm just applying it to this case in particular, is that we don't just get aromatic molecules. We get some of the other larger molecules that we don't want to see in an essential oil. Remember our standard in doTERRA, only volatile aromatic compounds. And in the context of being what it should be, coming from the right plant in the right amount and in the right companion molecules. Remember when we talked with you about arc plotting? Arc plotting, do you remember that from a quality measure for us? Now all of those things are playing together, and we don't want to do CO2 extraction, even though many people will say this is an actual label I took, USDA certified turmeric CO2 essential oil. It's not an essential oil because it has not just volatile compounds, but other compounds as well. And by the way, we don't liberate even all of the volatile chemistry. We don't get a complete essential oil profile. So we chose instead to do a steam distillation. Now that's important because of this one concept. When the chemistry is inconsistent in its ratios, or it's incomplete, the benefits that we see the same level of inconsistency. This is why we care about what's in every single essential oil and why we have those standards that we won't compromise on. Here's the real challenge with the CO2 extract. We get not only the tumerones in a very small amount, but we get all of the curcuminoids, and that's not what we're looking for. So we choose to do the essential oil. And because of the tumerones, now there's lots of different types of tumerones. There's AR tumerone, there's alpha tumerone, there's beta tumerone. Each one of them have their own value. But because of that, we have this ability to interact and to readily absorb through the cellular membranes. In other words, we have interaction with the cells itself. and it gives us some very key benefits. Natural tissue support, increased antioxidant capacity, cardiovascular support, neural support, and we can even look at brain preservation and function as a benefit that we can receive from the tuberones that we see in the essential oil. Now, we did a little bit of a study. We're doing a lot of that these days. And while this is in the very preliminary stages, I wanted to show you some of the things that we found. Now, what we did was we took dendritic cells, and we wanted to know, were they going to be sustained in two ways. First, we wanted to know that if we stress the cells themselves, would they be resilient? And when we had suppressed activity or function of those cells, would it return to normal and exceed and go beyond? And then the other thing we wanted to know was if we had normal cells in the presence of turmeric essential oil, if we stressed them, would they be resilient and maintain their function? And what we discovered is that both of those are true. Now, there'll be more information that's coming on this in the future. This is a study we're excited to continue to move forward. And so here's some of the simple and easy ways that you can use turmeric. Now, for me personally, you can use this topically, and when you use it topically, I like combining it with oils like frankincense, or maybe with cedarwood. I like combining this with mandarin essential oil. It changes the aroma dramatically, and I get that synergistic activity associated with the 5-LOX pathway, which is about respiratory continuity, so that we don't have disruption there and we support the body's normal process. So pick your favorite way, and I admit that this is a pretty short list of ways that you can use it. So engage yourself and start using the turmeric essential oil. Are you excited about that one? I have just one more for you really quickly. And this one is based